now call to order this meeting of the Gettysburg Area School District Board of Directors on this Monday, November 4th, 2019. The purpose of this meeting is to conduct the business of the Gettysburg Area School District. Public comment is welcome and issues will be referred to the appropriate board committee or administrator. Comments will be summarized in the official board minutes, which will be available by contacting the business office. Please take a moment to silence your cell phones and other electronic devices at this time. To do the order, there was an executive session prior to this meeting on personnel, and we will, at the conclusion of this meeting, meet back in the garden room for another executive session dealing with personnel. Mrs. Collins, all board members are present, so please take note of that. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And before I forget, I just want to welcome everyone that's here tonight, our administrators that showed up tonight, thank you for coming out tonight, our guests that are here tonight, and of course the Gettysburg Times reporter tonight is Mr.
Cooper White.
Cooper White, right, okay. So thank you for being here tonight. Next is notices and communications. Anything from any board members? You see before you some notes that you got from the 6th grade students about their experiences at the 6th grade camp. Please keep in mind that next year is the 50th anniversary of that camp being held. And I know that they are requesting, those that run the camp are requesting any suggestions, especially from the board, of how to celebrate that 50 years next year. So if you have any ideas, I'm sure that they would appreciate that, and we just get that to, I would say, Mrs. Herb at the middle school, and they would appreciate it. I think Mr. Floyd is the guy that runs it, so he would probably appreciate it. I know he's reaching out to all of us to do that, so keep that in mind. Let's see. Remember, we're under a new agenda tonight, so bear with me so that I hopefully don't forget anything and go out of order here. But I think on the next on the agenda is our routine approvals, citizens participation. And there is none. That's why I probably went right over that, because I didn't see anybody that wanted to talk. Okay, now we move to routine approvals. This is a relatively new item, and that we discuss and take action on the request to approve those things that we consider routine. This would include items 5.1, 2, and including 5.6, noting that 5.5 and 5.6 have been added as an addendum to that routine list. I entertain a motion to accept those approvals.
So moved.
Second. Is there any questions or discussion? Okay. Keep in mind that in that list are the minutes, approval of the minutes from October's meeting, so there are some changes there. All right, if I hear no discussion, then we'll take the vote. Mike?
Yes.
Jim?
Yes.
Sylvan?
Yes.
Carrie?
Yes.
Kathleen?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Alice?
Yes.
Al?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Welcome back, Mr. Crosby.
Yes, congratulations to Mr. Crosby. Welcome back. But before we move on, I also want to put big thank yous out to Mr. Fortnum, and I think I speak on behalf of the board, for you stepping in the dual role and taking over and filling in, supervising. And I also want to thank Christy, okay, the secretary in the facilities department, and Diane Weichert, who's not here tonight, custodial, and then Jim Huffman. I appreciate you, because you guys kept the nuts and bolts going, and that was great. And we do appreciate, we as a board appreciate the service that you give this district. And I'm sure you were all excited that Wayne will be back now to continue guiding, okay? And take some load off your plates, hopefully. All right. Any comment from the board? Okay. All right, that gets us to items for board action. 6.1, approval of the Adams County Tech Prep Joint Operating Committee members. We need 2 board members appointed to that committee, which will be meeting here the end of this month. So I open it up for nominations.
Carlos, we'll nominate Al Moyer and Carrie.
Okay,
Okay.
so we have Al Moyer and Carrie Soliday nominated
Second.
for second. Any discussion?
The only thing I would say, I'd be more than happy to do it, but if their meetings are on a Wednesday or Thursday afternoon, I'm teaching graduate students those nights and wouldn't be able to commit.
Yeah, the meetings are generally the 4th Wednesday of the month from 5:30 to
Yeah.
7.
So if the meetings are on Wednesday, we may want to recommend someone else for that. I'll be working.
Okay. Well, and the way it works is each district has 2 board representatives, but each district only gets 1 vote at that committee. Okay, so one's really considered the alternative. So as of right now, if the 2 of you would accept that, then maybe Carrie could be there, knowing that you're at your, and she can fill you in. Ideally, it'd be nice to have 2 there. Now, once we reorganize, we can always change who those board members are, okay?
Yeah, I just wanted you to know up front that I have a commitment on Wednesday,
Right.
Thursday
And I
afternoon.
appreciate that, okay? All right, so we have a motion to accept Carrie and Al as those representatives to that Tech Prep Committee. All right, Jim,
Yes.
Sylvan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Next item is 6.2, the approval of the engineering services for the James Geddes Elementary School / Administrative Building Parking Lot Improvement Expansion Project, which the monies for that is included in the 2019-20 capital project 5-year plan. Just so we're aware of that. I'll entertain a motion to
Second.
discussion. Okay, Sylvan,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Kathleen,
Yes.
Ken,
Yes.
Alice,
Yes.
Al,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
Jim,
Yes.
and I vote yes. That moves us on to information items, and the first one is 7.1, the district goals and benchmarks involving Dr. Ed Fuller.
Yeah, this is a follow-up to the information that I shared in August. Dr. Fuller had met with a couple members of our administrative team. We're looking to do some survey work to gain some qualitative data of our stakeholders, students, parents, over a multi-year process so that we can start to gauge our benchmarks in our goal areas. Given my relationship with Dr. Fuller, he was able to knock his price down to 1/3 of what he generally charges. So I would bring it to the next meeting for vote, but I wanted to bring it to this meeting as information in case anybody had questions.
What particular benchmarks are we targeting? A little further on that.
Yeah, sure. So the ones that I shared in August, so we had the goal areas, and then we had strategies to meet the goals, and then within each one of the goal areas, we also had benchmarks in terms of how do we know if we're meeting the goal. So for instance, it might be something quantitative that is data that's easily available. Might be something like all of our students are making 1 year's worth of growth, and that's really easy to pull off of like PVAT scores. The information that districts generally have a hard time finding are the important qualitative things like how many kids enjoy coming to school or look forward to coming to school, how many students feel that there's an adult at school that cares about them, how many students in the school feel safe. So those are the kind of things that you generally can get through survey type information. So what Ed would provide would be all of the surveys, all the data crunching, and all the final reports to the board on a yearly basis for doing that.
Jason, would that include all of the schools?
Yes.
K through 12?
Yeah, it would include, so what we're looking to do, because this would be the first year, if it's approved at the next meeting, this would be year one. So what we would do in the spring is we would get the first survey results for students and parents K-12, or grades 3 to 12, really, because it's tough to survey K2 with some of those topics. So we would probably go to 3-12 on those. So this year would serve as kind of a benchmark year, and then redoing the surveys on a yearly basis, you would be able to then track growth on those benchmarks on a yearly basis. And then in year two, we'd add a teacher's survey. So across time, we would have students, parents, teachers, and we'd have that data on a yearly basis. So what that data would enable us to do is not only then take a look and say, should these still be the goal areas for the district, it'll enable principals to look at their own individual building data to say, here's some goal areas, maybe not for the district, but I don't like these results for my school, so this might be a building goal or something to that effect. So it enables you to get some really good data that you often wonder about or think you know the answer to because you're a small, but when you actually have the data staring you in the face, it can really kind of cause you to make some decisions that are different. So Ed's an evaluation expert, so what we would be compensating him for is basically working with our admin team to create the surveys and then creating the final reports that are kind of top notch. So what I'll do is for the next meeting, I would make it an action item, and I can send you all some reports that he's done, some final reports he's done for other districts, so you can kind of see the kinds of things that come out of it.
What I think I hear you saying is it's a more comprehensive way of gathering information, because some of the, like you know, the example, we might have secondary information that's provided by a survey that's available to districts, but we don't have that at the elementary level, and we also don't have it from the parent stance. Correct?
Yeah, that's right, and we would actually, the secondary survey would be similar, like grades 6 to 12. Then you would have different questions for grades 3 to 5, but they're a little more developmentally appropriate. And the great thing about doing it on a yearly basis is that what I found in doing it from year to year is there'll be things that come up over time that we'll want to know the answer to them. And so that year you can throw in an extra question, and you can get extra data on some things that you're wondering about. But it's really great to look at it linearly, and I've only worked with him on projects like that for 4 years out. So benchmark year 1, year 2, year 3, and I like getting the ability to look at the holistic kind of aggregate for the district, but then also having the ability to look at that really building specific data to say, we might have some needs that the elementary school 3 miles away doesn't have. So it's really helpful that way too.
Have you found in the past it's driven by his participation though? Because it sent out, if I was reading right, like with one of the service monkeys or whatever, which it would go out in masses, and the survey is really only as good as polling with the number of people that provide the feedback. So if you look at a particular school within the district and you're running 20 to 25% of feedback or taking the survey, I'm not sure how much that data really means.
Well, you get so for and it's a good question. So I'll get more specific about the survey. So it's true more on the parent end because there's a little bit more choice in terms of whether or not to complete a survey. You usually need somewhere around 30-35% of your population to create decent reliability on a survey. we don't have as big of an issue with the students because we haven't taken the survey. So we'll have really strong survey results, or high percentages for the students, and then hopefully we'll get close to that reliability number of around 30 or 35% for the parent information. But I think it's information that you'll be really curious to see, and that it'll help us. To know the answer, you have to ask the question. So we're looking to ask the question, and this is all in an effort just to get a little bit better each year.
I think you're successful when you turn it over even to the communications and Andrew. I mean, he's, the feedback from the public has been very positive with the way the district has communicated on a whole host of issues, both good and positive, over the last year. So, that's a suggestion that, as you go out to the parents, maybe the marketing of that comes out of the district a little bit stronger.
Do you happen to know if, so you said you'd be bringing samples of things he's worked on before, which is, I think, a great idea. I'm going back to, I chuckled a little bit when you said something about like K-2 not necessarily being able to answer some of the same questions, because I understand that, but I also feel like we're going through an effort of getting data from all age ranges, and in the effort of, finding out how students feel about belonging in the school district as a young elementary teacher, I feel like that is pretty valuable. And I do, I guess the only reason I bring that up is because if you're already making, or viewing that as making different age-appropriate questions for an elementary geared survey for 3 to 5, and then you said it would be a little bit different, a little bit maybe more complicated wording and questions for 6 to 8, and so on and so forth. I'd be curious to find out if he's done something with the younger elementary side of things before.
We did together, and it.
You did
we
together?
tried it-
Oh,
we
okay.
tried it a couple times, and it
It didn't work as well.
didn't work. And with K2 specifically, even some of the concepts were a little bit too much for K. Now you could do 5 questions or.
Sure.
But even the Likert scales became
Okay.
an issue. You almost had to go with like happy and unhappy faces, or like
Right,
those
especially-
kinds of things.
Are you still planning on getting?
Parent surveys from
Oh, yeah.
those parents? Okay.
Absolutely.
Great.
Jason, I want to thank you for clarifying the annual invoice rate is a discounted rate. I was actually perplexed when I saw how low it was, so thank you for that.
It's usually about 18
Yes,
a year.
does this include travel and expenses?
It's everything. That's the most he would cost us on a yearly basis. He was also on my dissertation committee.
I have another question. Trends have changed in that our families are not always sitting down like at a desktop computer. So they're using their smartphones, they're using tablets, maybe laptops. So has Dr. Fuller adapted his methods of obtaining information to match what you might send out, say, in a text message or other formats?
We've the adaptation has usually been made on the district end in terms of whether or not like you use like say parent conferences and provide some laptops. He does all of this from Penn State University Park. So we would kind of manage the surveys here on site. So whatever we would choose to do to create the best survey environment possible would kind of be on our shoulders.
So I hear you saying actually people are here, like when they did the families would be completing surveys possibly in district.
It could be an option. So folks that have that capability from home can do it from home. Folks that are coming in for meetings or whatever, we can provide that opportunity if they don't have that ability at home. So we try to get to as many people as we could.
Any other questions?
I'll just say, I think this is a good move, and feedback is always a key to improvement, and we're getting it at a good rate and a person that we trust, so that'll be great. I like Allison, looking forward to seeing the to see what all we're looking at
Yeah,
measuring.
I can, and obviously the results for our district will be different than the results from the sample that I might send you, or just based on what we're asking and those kind of things. But I think you'll get a sense of how it's set up, what it looks like. So when I do send it to you, I'll send it to you via email. It's no small undertaking, so don't feel the need to read it all. Like, just kind of glance, say like the charts and graphs, like that looks really good, but there's no need to read the whole thing. But I'll send you a sample prior to the next board meeting, so that when it's an action item, you'll have a sense of what it looks like.
Right, the other information item for your consideration is the LIU Joint Purchasing Board activity. If you look at those charts, you see all the different ways that we use the joint purchasing board, and it showed the savings that we have. And I think, Brad, if you have some comments to make.
This report is produced each year, and as you look at the chart, you see that Gettysburg Area School District participates in a wide variety of programs through the LIU. And what's also fascinating is the value of the savings that we have. Now, we do pay an annual fee for participation in this, but once you pay the fee, you can participate in any part you wish. And so we try to get as much for our money and participating in as many different activities as possible. If you take a look at custodial savings, $38,000 saving on $70,000 of purchase. That's a pretty good ratio of savings, and some of this other areas is similar. On the, I think it's the first page, if you take a look over toward the right, electric, and then in the middle, natural gas. Those are two programs where we're actually using consultants and buying futures. We're buying into 2022 now, and the rates are really quite favorable. It's an interesting process where we look at budgetary impact and try to also watch the market, take advantage of the market. But we have to remember that we're dealing with public money, so just like a lot of things, we have to be careful watching the market. But we've done pretty well over the years, and the savings have been pretty substantial for us. It's been very educational being part of those committees. So if you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
I have one question. What do you wish was on here that's not on here as an option to purchase jointly? The cost savings is there because it's a larger quantity. So what isn't on there that you wish was an option?
I'm not sure that I would add anything. The things that aren't on here have other venues. Computer technology isn't on here, but we have them, and we have CoStars, and we have a variety of different programs that are already doing that on a much larger scale. What I would like to add to this is more other districts' participation. I wouldn't add more categories, I'd add more participation. It's been quite a long time, but when we first moved to this area and looked at this joint purchasing program, it didn't take long to find out that they have something better going on than a lot of places. The quality of the spec is important to us. It's a whole lot better paying $4 for a good pair of scissors than $1.98 for a pair that you throw away because they won't work. And the IU recognizes that. They're very good at making sure we're getting a good paper spec, and they work very hard when you can't find paper, and all of a sudden you are getting your paper from Turkey, and all you think of Turkey being barren, and now you're getting paper from there. How did that happen when the tariffs went in place? So it's not just a matter of prices, it's a matter of having a large enough volume that you can go out and find what you need when you need it. Yeah, if I were to add something, it would be more participation from other districts.
Brad, on that note of participation, I think they typically operate independently within the schools that are in their county. I I think there were 28 schools here. Has there ever been any discussion of expanding or the IUs cooperating with like other IUs, like the Capo Area IU and the Lancaster Lebanon IU, to have more purchasing power with more schools being involved?
In fact, it's been looked at quite extensively with energy. And what you find in different regions is slightly different philosophies. And what we found there was even if we migrated to a similar philosophy, we're already achieving those savings in the volumes that we're buying. So we found in those areas that really didn't work. But we are using some areas of other bids. The cafeteria food bid comes out of Lancaster, Lebanon. We have taken a look at CPAC and some other cooperatives in the Harrisburg area. We're finding that we're pretty good, or their fees to participate, since we're already paying the fees here, make it not cost advantageous, so.
So we currently have the flexibility, even though we're part of this joint purchasing board with Lincoln Intermediate Unit, we can independently go out and get a better deal individually for other specific items from other IUs or other joint purchasing agreements.
Yes, it's just that we haven't found, there's a few places where it has worked and we'll continue to use that.
Good to know.
And then, of course, we do our own internal bids. So you see our, in general, through the IU, they're gonna run your basic, construction paper and art supplies and general supplies, pencils, copy paper, things like that. But then we run our own bid for those items that they don't, place on their bid. So we're running quite a bit of in-house bid work as well.
Thank you, Brad. All right, board committee reports.
There is no policy committee report. We meet again soon, I think, Jane. But I would just say, on behalf of the policy committee and the format that we adopted in our first night running this new format, I commend our board officers for the way that they've run that. And I've personally enjoyed the dialogue and the information from the informational items that is happening in open session in the sunshine, so to speak. And I personally, for one, think this is a good move in the right direction, and it'll just get better. I'm interested to hear other board members' perceptions.
Thanks to Tam and Jane for making the square peg fit the round hole.
Right. Did you say, Jane, did you say that's on November 14th policy committee? Yeah. No? Next Tuesday. Be next Tuesday, the 12th. Okay, thank you. The policy committee meeting is 12th. Okay?
Mr. President, the Finance and Facilities Committee will meet again on November the 21st, that's a Thursday.
Anything else? That's it, right? Okay, Dr. Perrin, building program reports.
Dr. Leiter?
Just quickly, some updates for this week. We have our parent conferences at K-8 on Thursday, or the 6th, the 7th, and the 8th. So in the evening on the 7th, students are out half day. On the 8th through the evening, and then Friday morning, students are off. So we typically get a very good response. And an event that we have collaborated with the middle school to host is the Giving Spree. It used to be in the Gettysburg Hotel, but now it's at our middle school. This year, the approach to participate, they challenged us to create a plan for advertising our not-for-profits, and we had to compete to be able to get a booth. So I'm excited to announce that Gettysburg Ruth's Harvest will be participating, and we've been promoting our event in hopes that we'll have a good response, and I know the Gettysburg Foundation is going to be there as well. So we hope to benefit from people coming into the middle school anyway, but certainly others. And I know this year they're collecting items to donate to the middle school. They asked the staff for some things as an appreciation for using our facility, and it's a little bit of a traffic flow with parent conferences, so I'm hoping we get a good response with that as well. Thank you.
Thanks. And that's 4 to 7 p.m. that night, right? At the middle school, this Thursday. And then,
What are they asking to be donated?
It's like tissues, what else? No, this is for the middle school, the actual middle school. Let me check.
Okay, you'll come back to us, okay.
we're going to, as we're getting close to the winter months, though we're not going to have any closures or delays this winter, we're going to just do a test call tomorrow evening around 5 o'clock. That gives folks the opportunity to fix any wrong numbers or email addresses prior to the first real occurrence. So Andrew sent an email out Thursday of last week letting folks know about tomorrow's test call. So we'll get that up and running. It's hard to believe we're approaching that time of year already. And Dr. Wade talked about the giving spree and mentioned that students are off on Friday and early dismissal on Thursday. And just want to remind everybody to tomorrow to exercise their right and responsibility to vote.
Okay, I found the hostess gift list. Soft tissues, so we must not give soft tissues out. Absorbent paper towels, wet wipes, and hand sanitizer. Those are hostess gifts for Gettysburg area middle school classrooms.
Okay, thank you. Soft tissues. As
Absorbent
opposed
paper
to,
towels. Absorbent paper towels.
Yeah.
On
I'll
that
let you
bid.
fill in the blank.
okay. Yeah.
I guess they went purchasing where they now include soft tissues or absorbent paper towels.
Okay. Is there anything for the good of the order? Okay, hearing none, our next meeting is scheduled for Monday, November 18th at 7 o'clock. Reminder that, including this meeting, we will have an executive session downstairs in the